Good morning, love. Today's morning love is an experiment in editing. It was all made within a half an hour, but magic happened, and so I edited it slightly differently. You'll see what I mean when you start watching, but I just hope you'll stick it out and stay for as long as you can as we enjoy geese, sunrise, and making space for love to shine through. Good morning, love. I'm so grateful you're here. Making this video has been such a delight, and I love the thought of you being out there, being here with me. As you listen, I would love for you to simply be with the video, and if you want to jot notes or make comments as we go, great. I love hearing from you. Ah, what a great time it's been with you. The birds are trying again. Oh wait, a goose. The plaintive call of one goose. Have you ever heard that? The first time I heard that was in Bakersfield. I was at the Kernover Parkway. In fact, today's morning walk diary is actually in that same location. And I was walking and I heard that mournful sound, and it literally got me right in my chest. And I was doing a speech at Toastmasters the next day, and I did an improv or impromptu speech about it. One of my friends said, "How are you always in these places where you have experiences like this?" And I didn't have an answer for her then. But as I heard that single goose just now, it occurred to me. When we allow ourselves to be fully awake in the world as it moves around us, we will find ourselves in places and experiences where such things come up, because we've turned off the constant mind rumination long enough to hear that plaintive sound of that single goose that I heard years ago and that I heard just now. And that's what this video is about today. Making space to really hear and feel and experience life at its best. I keep a fairly rigid schedule in the morning. Right now it's just after 7. The sun is about to come up over the horizon, and I believe it's probably still too dark for you to see me well. So I'm sitting here for a few to see how that will change, and if I need to scrap what I've done and start again when the light is brighter. It was interesting taking that time to see the sky brighten a bit. It's only been 5 minutes, and the change is quite stunning. It reminds me of the significance of making space. There's different ways people sometimes describe that as holding space, taking space. But my own rigidity in the mornings sometimes keeps me from having enough space to gain clarity. I was listening to a podcast when I was driving last week, and it was Being Well with Forrest Hansen is the host. His guest was a gentleman who writes on Substack. He has a Substack called 2%ers or something like that. I'll correct myself on the screen, definitely in the description with links. And they were talking about the value of boredom. I almost gasped because one of the unspoken rules in the house when my kids were little was that we did not use the word boring, boredom. We did not say I am bored. We also did not say the word hate. It's funny because to this day my children don't say these words in front of me. And I realized that what they were describing as boredom, for me, was more like contemplative time. I suppose when I was driving a lot last week, that could be considered boring, but I so enjoy that time on the road that it's not boring at all because I'm thoroughly engaged in it. It made me wonder, what if I just let go of that specific intention for 5 minutes like I just did. And in those 5 minutes, I was able to hear the bird chorus. I was able to use my Merlin app, which I love, to listen and see what birds were out here. And a couple of really interesting things came up. First thing that came up was, I'm cold. It's cold out here on the porch at 7 a.m. on a Monday in March. Not as cold as it was a week ago, but being out here in my nightgown and no jacket is not something I would necessarily recommend. And then when I was seeing what birds were out here, there was the cardinal, the American robin, a crow flew by at some point, singing, if crows sing. Carolina wren, a white-throated sparrow. And Carolina wrens are very consistent here. And amongst the stuff I learned, because Merlin decided to tell me that Carolina wrens actually nest in spaces, in crevices, in those, if they were like, if Carolina wrens lived in time, they would be nesting in those little spaces that we leave in our day, those little spaces that we hold open in our plans, those little spaces that some people describe as boredom. On the podcast, they said that people are not bored enough anymore, and that when we allow ourselves the space to be bored, or for me, perhaps this is why I love going on Sunday afternoon drives. Maybe what I'm really craving is the space of not doing anything significant. But to me, that afternoon drive, when I'm alone and my brain gets to be free, that some of my most creative ideas pop up. How does that work for you? Even pausing to take a sip of my coffee, I think about how some experts on YouTube say, don't leave a gap, don't leave silence on your videos. I wonder how much of this is going to end up on the cutting room floor. Geese, the geese are coming. When I first heard the first squawk, I thought it might be a rooster. Oh, there they are. Hi, geese. It's a small group. Huh. It's 4 geese looking for the rest of their V. It's kind of funny. They're like at the end of a V formation without the front of their V formation. They're making space. They're knowing what this video is about. During my time on the road, I had the space. Oh, they're all finding each other. It's like a Goose reunion. Keep going, you. Keep going. Yep. There you go. I think they're looking for the Appalachian Trail. They're heading in one of the right directions. This way, actually all 3 ways. Oh, that's where it is. They're heading away from the not Appalachian Trail toward the High Point part of the Appalachian Trail, as compared to the New York part of the Appalachian Trail, or the Stokes State Forest part of the Appalachian Trail. Thank you, geese. So as I was saying, before the geese came and interrupted my flow, when I was on my trip, I had a lot of space for healing. I had a lot of space to reckon with my history. I had a lot of built-in space to reconnect with people who I hadn't seen in 30, 40 years, 20 years, 10 years, 5 months, a year. And what I discovered is simple yet rich. The creating space part was creating space for my heart to catch up and my brain and heart to, it's more like my brain to catch up. One moment comes to me very strongly, and that was when I was visiting with my friend Lisa in Nebraska. And Lisa and I hadn't seen each other since 1982. And we had been friends since the 4th grade, and we had sung in choir as children. We had been in confirmation class together, and had been classmates, and there was a moment where, I don't want to cry, maybe I will. There was a moment where it was like I was just riffing, kind of like I do when I free write. And I was talking about reconnection, and I was talking about love, and I was talking about how those intervening years just seemed to evaporate. And even during those times when we were separate, somehow that love remained. And the depth of love felt so strong. And I was just like, it almost was like I was outside of my body, but I was looking into her eyes the whole time. And as I was speaking, so gently, fiercely, because it was quiet and firm, and my voice didn't wiggle like it's wiggling here. It was true and right and sacred, and all of those words that are conceptual, that I'll need to write through later. I've been wanting to write about that. And ironically, I haven't made the space yet to write about that. Thankfully, that came further in on my road trip. I've made 2 videos so far. I think that happened on day 6. Because we spent 4 days in Arizona. You'll get to know Arizona pretty well anyway. My invitation for you is to look at how you are creating space, holding space, making space, and or like me in my morning, pretty darn rigid with my time and not creating space. Nothing wrong with that. Being that rigid in the morning really helps me to sort of build a platform where I can hold space, create space later in the day. So perhaps you might want to put something in the comments about your relationship with space and time, and then walk away and let it simmer. And maybe in the next few days something will pop up and you can come back or comment on the next video or talk to your friends or your partner about that concept. Wondering if in your homes you can feel that joy that I have, and imagining you out there listening to this video, watching this video later. Ah, what a great feeling. Again, good morning, love. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.